Hey! This time I wanted to share my process of making a Sansa Stark costume. The final season is coming soon, and I wanted to celebrate it in a creative way. Sansa's costumes in season 6, 7 and 8 were a completely new style for her, and she has grown so much. I think she is now my favorite character in the show. Brienne is also one of my favorites, but I wanted to make something less night looking, so I chose this costume. The full costume includes a cloak, a pelt, a long sleeve dress, a leather body harness, the necklaces, gloves, and I guess some boots. Let's dive into the materials. First, I googled the shit out of Sansa Stark season 7 and 8. I found an article explaining Sansa's costumes and the stories behind them. It helped me a lot. Then I downloaded every picture I could find of the costume, and these two are now an essential part of this project. The pictures are so high-res that I can zoom into the little details, and I don't think anything else could help me this much. I also found behind-the-scenes pictures of the dress, and in those pictures it looks like the whole costume is brown, not grey. But since in the show the costume has looked very grey, almost bluish, and because finding matching brown shades like that would be very hard, I decided to make the costume identical to what we have seen on the show. I collected all of the pictures I could find into folders and started looking at them and tried to figure out what all of the costume pieces are made of. Let's start with the cloak, since I think it's the hardest one to figure out. So the cloak is greyish with a white pattern. It is ankle length and it has a pelt of some animal on the shoulder area. I would guess the cloak could be made of wool or a wool mix. Something that hangs down nicely. I don't think the material is that thick, since the cloaks are gathered a lot in the neck area. I would try to search for thick mixed fabrics and something with a lot of texture. Sansa is sometimes seen wearing the fur only, so I would guess the fur and cloak are two different pieces. The cloak and the fur could be attached to the dress or the body harness, but so far I have not seen any visible buckles or buttons. Then to the fur. It looks like a dark, realistic pelt of some animal, maybe a silver fox. A head and legs can be seen in some scenes, but I'm not absolutely sure whether it's real or not. Buying faux fur is very expensive in Finland, so I will have to do a lot of digging, or else the fur will cost as much as the rest of the costume. I am not a fan of real leather or farm fur, but I am a big fan of recycling. I think finding those pieces from a thrift store would be the most eco-friendly option if I can't find anything else. It would also be friendly for my wallet. The dress. The dress is an interesting piece. It looks like very rough linen to me. The details on the shoulders are interesting. I could use interfacing and EVA foam to make them stiffer. The stitching work in the dress also has a lot of detail, and the front of the bodice has black feathers and other small details. I think I would try to sew the seams with a zigzag stitch or make hand stitching over the seams. There is no visible zippers, and the dress seems to be very fitted, so we will have to work on that. Leather body harness. This piece of the costume is really cool, very different, and I think it looks like a cross between manly armor and a feminine accessory. The harness wraps around her body and seems to be attached with that belt. I think I would add an elastic band somewhere in the back for comfort. The item also seems to have a lot of wear and tear and shading. That should be easy to create. Leather is also a difficult material to buy in Finland. I hope I can find it from a thrift store. Gloves. The gloves could be found from a thrift store also. I would rather buy them than make them, because I think making them would be very hard. The gloves seem to also have a fur cuff. Short necklace. Sansa has a short necklace around her neck that has wolf head details. I think I would make the heads from Fimo or something like that. Long necklace. I think I would buy wire and make the chain myself, although it is definitely not made out of wire, but I don't want it to look like chain from a hardware or jewelry store. Boots. I have no idea what her boots look like, but if I can't find pictures of them, I would go with a black ankle or calf length pair and make them look really old. That's it. See you in the next video.